in an inner product space, V, okay, what do you mean by an inner product space? It is a vector space along with an inner product defined on it, right? It is said to be orthonormal if, can you see here, inner product between those two vectors is 0 whenever I and j are not same. For two different vectors, the inner product between them is 0. For two same vectors, inner product between them is 1. Inner product between them is 1 means what? Norm is 1. Because norm of a vector is nothing but what? How do you find norm? What do you mean by inner product between two vectors 1? Appa, what is the meaning of that? Inner product between two same vectors, if you find, what is that actually? It is the square of the norm. If the square of the norm is 1, okay, forgot. What is norm of a vector? It is nothing but root of inner product of x comma x. So if the inner product between two vectors is 1, that two same vectors they are saying I equal to j, then that means norm is 1. Because this value is 1, square root of that is also 1. So that means magnitude of the vector is 1. Right? Check. Okay. So here as we have seen some examples also. What about these two vectors? Just to recollect, let me be very fast. What can you say about these two vectors? Are they orthogonal to each other? The inner product. Yes?
And they are orthogonal.
Orthogonal. Okay. So here they have mentioned particularly Euclidean inner product. Euclidean inner product means dot product. Inner product between these two vectors is simply the dot product between these two vectors. So what is the inner product between 1, 0 and 0, 3? Simply dot product. 1 into 0 plus 0 into 3. So it is 0. Okay. But are they orthonormal to each other? Are they orthonormal?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Because their norm is not 1. Maybe the norm of this particular vector is 1, but 0, 3, the norm is not 1. Right? Okay. So what can you say about these two vectors?
Not orthogonal.
Not orthogonal. Only if they are orthogonal, we can further proceed to check whether they are orthonormal. Okay. Okay. What about these two vectors? Again, same. They are not orthogonal. Okay. What about these two vectors?
Orthonormal.
Orthonormal. Check. Okay, we'll proceed. I think, hope you remember everything. This also I think I told you. If V1, V2, etc., Vn is an orthonormal basis for an inner product space V, and X is any vector in V, then X is equal to inner product of X comma V1 into V1 plus X comma V2 into V2 plus etc. X comma Vn into Vn. This also I think I proved this also. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Just
Yes, ma'am.
remember this. Huh?
Yes, ma'am. You have proved.
Yes, I proved. Okay, so you remember double, suppose V is a vector space, right? W is a subspace of that. There is a concept called orthogonal complement. So what do you mean by orthogonal complement of W? The set of all vectors which are in V and which are orthogonal to W. You can have, suppose V is a very big inner product space, W is there, so you have W complement here. So the set of all vectors in this particular subspace, it is also a subspace. This subspace is what? Orthogonal to the set of all vectors in W. Right? If you find the inner product between any two vectors here and here, it will be always 0. Okay. And see, W is a subspace, no? W complement is also a subspace. W intersection W complement is only 0. Other than 0, nothing is common in between them. Okay. Orthogonal projection, you remember? All these things we have seen already. Just to recollect, before going into Gram-Smith, I want to recollect all these things. What do you mean by orthogonal projection? So before going into this, better. Suppose W is the set of all vectors here. All vectors here, right? Okay, so what is V? V is the set of all vectors x comma y. So what is V actually? What is V here? Set of all x comma y such that x and y are from R, real numbers. So what is V now? V is equal to set of all x comma y such that x and y are real numbers. So what is V? You can say V in another way. What is V that? R square, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
R square. Okay. So V is R square or R cross R, direct product. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just project any vector, arbitrarily chosen vector x comma y over this. What does this U denote? This line. X-axis, yeah? What is that?
Yes, ma'am.
X-axis.
X-axis.
So what type of vectors you
Yes,
see
ma'am.
along the x-axis? That is U. So U is nothing but the set of all vectors of the form x comma 0 such that x is from R. So U is nothing but what? X-axis. Okay. So I am projecting this vector here. What do you mean by projecting? Okay. Projection, you know it or
I'm
not?
taking image.
Image. Actually, image means it should come here. I'm not going for the image. Just it goes here. So when it goes here, what happens to this particular point? It is perpendicular actually. The line joining this point and this point is perpendicular to x-axis. So what do you expect this point to be? It is along the x-axis, yeah?
X comma 0.
X comma 0. Y coordinate is 0. X comma 0. Actually, I have projected the point x comma y along the x-axis and it goes as x comma 0. This is called orthogonal projection. Why it is called orthogonal projection? The line joining this and this is perpendicular to the x-axis. So, all the points along V in V are projected along U by making the y coordinate 0. So if I want to make the x coordinate 0, where should I project?
Along the y-axis.
Along the y-axis, something like this, right? So it becomes 0, 1. This is called projection, right? So any x comma y can be written as x comma 0 plus 0 comma y. You accept this? Any x comma y can be written as x comma 0 plus 0 comma y. Is this right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this is called direct sum. Actually, V is nothing but direct sum of U and W. U is x-axis, W is the set of all points along the y-axis. So U is direct sum, I should write. That means any vector in V can be written as sum of these two vectors, and moreover there is no common thing in between these two vector spaces. Can you see anything common other than 0, 0? No. So V is the direct sum of U and W. Is it clear? And moreover, this is called the orthogonal projection. That is this point. This is projection of x comma y on U along W. Along W means what? You are projecting along the direction of W, right? Or something parallel to W you are projecting. Is it clear? Okay. So what can you say about this point? This point is obtained by projecting x comma y on W along U. Check. That's what given. So very important thing. A linear transformation T from V to V is called a projection onto a subspace U if and only if T square is T. Can you say why T square is T here? See, T is a projection. So what happens if you project it again? Suppose. What happens? See, already I have projected x comma y to x comma 0. What happens is, 1 minute. See, T of x comma y is x comma 0. Right? Again I am taking T of x comma 0. What happens? my linear transformation projects any vector in R square to x-axis. It makes the y coordinate 0. What happens to this point?
Again this.
Again same x comma 0. So t square and t is same. So 1 minute. I'll say this way. T square of x comma y is t of x comma y. T of x comma y is x comma 0. T of x comma 0, which is x comma 0. So t square and t does the same work here. That's what they are saying. T square equal to t. Okay. All these things I told you. Okay. Very important point. Dimension. See, V is a vector space, right? U is a subspace. And what does this denote? The set of all vectors in V which are orthogonal to U. Orthogonal to U. So, what can you say about the dimension of U and dimension of U complement? Go back to this previous example, what I have taken. What is dimension of U here? Because U has the set of all vectors of this form, right? X comma 0 such that X belongs to R. So, what is the dimension of this vector space? Even though it's an inner product space, as a vector space, what is its dimension?
It is 1.
1. How do you say it is 1? You are correct, but how do you say that?
So basis is 1 comma 0, so it's x into 1 comma 0.
Very good. Basis is 1 comma 0, so x into 1 comma 0. By taking any arbitrary constant times 1 comma 0, we can obtain all the vectors in this particular space. Very good. Correct. So what is the dimension of V? Similarly, what is V? W.
Yeah, again it is 1.
Again that is 1. Can you say what is W first of all? W is
Projection
set
on
of
the y-axis.
0 comma y. Yes, 0 comma y such that y belongs to y. So this is being what? Spanned by, or it has a basis what? 0 comma 1. So dimension is 1. So dimension of u plus dimension of w is nothing but what? Dimension of v. Because they are orthogonal to each other. Only if they are orthogonal this happens. That is the thing they are saying here. Dimension of u plus dimension of u complement is dimension of v. U complement, the whole complement is u. So obvious here. Orthogonal complement of an orthogonal complement is the same space u where we have started. So this is obvious. That's what I told you now. Right? Okay. All these 3 points are equivalent to each other. Right? Sure. One important thing.
Direct sum.
Yes,
Ma'am, what is that plus in circle?
A direct sum. Okay. Simply sum means what? See, V is equal to simplify, right? U plus W. Then any vector in V can be written as any vector of this plus any vector of this. But maybe they can have some common points other than 0, 0. But if I strictly write direct sum means there is no common point between them other than 0, 0. Okay, va? Clear? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Suppose if they have other than 0, 0 something in common, I have to write this way only. Simply sum of these two. But if I strictly write like this, then it's called direct sum. Direct sum, na, nothing is in common between them other than 0, 0. Okay. Now, let V be an inner product space and let U be a subspace of V. So that V is equal to U direct sum, U complement. Just now I gave you an example, right? R square is equal to U plus W, direct sum W, where U is x comma 0 format and W is what? 0 comma y format, right? Then the projection of V onto U, that is any x comma y, is projected to x comma 0 along U complement. Along W is called the orthogonal projection. Why it is called orthogonal projection? It is projected perpendicularly. Have you seen this? See the diagram? How it is projected? is projected perpendicularly, right? From here to here. Because if you join these two lines, join these 2 points, this line is actually perpendicular to you. Where you are projecting, to that surface, this line is perpendicular. So it's called orthogonal or perpendicular projection. But we never call it as perpendicular projection, it is always called orthogonal projection. So, denoted by projection of U. Okay. This symbol, just remember, yeah? Projection of X along U. In physics also you might have studied projection. You have not studied? Have you studied or no? Projection.
Yes,
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 ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, what you have studied? What way you have studied projection? Same way or something different?
Yeah, it was for vectors.
Vector. Check. Okay. See this here. Can anybody explain this? Read this. Maybe you can take 1 or 2 minutes time. Once all these concepts are clear, we can go for a Gram-Smith orthogonalization process, and that will be the end of this module. Only if you understand Gram-Smith, your module 6 will be easy. QR factorization will be easy. So we'll go slowly. Tell me what does this theorem says? It says something. This also already you have studied in your physics concept only. Cheripa, I'll draw the diagram, then I hope you will understand. Here X is a vector, right? 2-dimensional vector. It's a vector here, not usual X comma Y. So please don't get confused. X is a vector here. Maybe some x1 comma x2, right? I am projecting that here. This is the projected point. This is U, right? The distance between this, what is a norm? Norm is nothing but the distance between these two is always less than or equal to the distance between x and any y here. Y is any point along here. Can you say y? Any point arbitrarily if you choose here, the distance between x and the projection is always less than or equal to the distance between x and y. Y. You find distances like this here. Y may be any point, right? Find the distance like this.
Hypotenuse is always greater.
Even here also you can have y. So at which point the value will be least value? The distance between x and y.
Perpendicular.
Whenever your y is equal to this point, projection of x along u. That is also one of y, right? So when your y happens to be that point, the distance between x and y will be your minimum most. That's what they are saying always. Distance between x and projection is always less than or equal to distance between x and any arbitrary one. Clear, huh? Hello? Check once again and draw this diagram. I hope little bit confused or clear.
Can you repeat again, ma'am?
Okay, 1 minute. Once again and repeat. Don't go. Here your point x is there, yeah, right? Okay. Here y points are lying where? Along u. Any point here. Any point here, right? Go and start finding the distance. If your y is here, the distance will be this one. If your y is here, the distance is here. If your y is here, the distance is here. Y is here, distance is here. Similarly, find when will be the distance between x and y minimum? When your y happens to be this point. I'm saying all these points are y's. Any randomly chosen y. So when your y happens to be this particular point, what is this point? Projection of x along
Projection.
When your y is particularly this point, this distance is always minimum. You know very well, right? The distance between any point, right, with this line, when it will be minimum. Shortest distance is nothing but if you project it along this line, this distance is minimum. Rather than choosing these distances, this distance is minimum. That's the thing they are saying. The distance between x and its projection is always less than or equal to x and any other point on this particular U. Clear? Huh? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, shall I proceed now?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what. See here, very important concept. Here is your x, triangular layer. In physics, you have studied, right? See, this is your x in this direction, right? And this is your projection. Because once you projected, what will be this distance? You have to calculate this way, right? Projection. This is nothing but x minus projection. So this is x minus projection, this is projection. Always remember, whenever x is a vector, x and projection of x, they are always orthogonal to each other. Is it clear? Your usual physics concept. X and the projection of x is always orthogonal to each other. Right? Sorry, x and the projection of x, x projection of x and x minus projection of x. I said wrongly when I'm saying projection of x and x minus projection of x. These two vectors are always perpendicular to each other. 1 minute. Even we can see once again. Please concentrate. If you understand this concept, then our Gram-Smith you can understand easily. Even though the only formula is there, but you need to understand that formula. See, you are projecting any vector here. See, x is a vector. Right? This vector usually, how do you calculate? If there is a vector, you denote this vector like this, right? What I do? Now I project it. How do I represent that vector? This way. Because the magnitude is calculated this way. So if this is x, and if this is projection of x along u, and this is nothing but x minus projection of x along u. This projection of x along u and x minus projection of x along u are perpendicular to each other. Just 1 minute, I'll have some water and come 1 minute. So hope this point is clear. Okay, so we'll proceed. Let U be a subspace. So don't get confused by so many definitions. All definitions are one way or another, they mean one and the same, but they are given in different ways. Don't get confused. Again, the same thing. Yes, beta. Huh?
Ma'am, could you go back to the previous slide?
Sure.
Ma'am, here in this notation projection of like U is in the subscript. So ma'am, U is the plane on which we are dropping the projection. No?
Yes, yes. X
It's
is
not a along thing, no, because along is parallel and U is perpendicular to our projection.
Yes, yes. X is a vector. X is a vector which is being projected on U, right? Along what? Along they have not said anything. Along x minus projection you have to say, right? Okay. So what is projection of any vector x along U? Very important thing here. U is a subspace. See, V is the inner product space. U is a subspace, right? And let U1, U2, etc. Um be an orthonormal basis. For this particular subspace, there is an orthonormal basis. So I think, hope you remember. What do you mean by orthonormal set of vectors? The same thing you can use for orthonormal basis. Orthonormal basis means what? It is a set of vectors which forms a basis for U and which are also orthonormal to each other, right? Then, for any x belongs to V, the orthogonal projection of x along U is nothing but inner product of x comma u1 into u1. I think this also I proved it. Plus inner product of x comma u2 into u2 plus etc. plus x comma um into um. Why I am repeating is, I think somebody has posted a message. Please repeat all the concepts. Then only I think even I can understand, because you might have studied all the remaining things, you might have forgotten this, so I am recollecting all these things. Hope I proved this, right? Say, okay, let us do it again, no problem. X is any vector from V, right? Projection of X along U is nothing but this sentence. Should I prove this again, or you can go? Shall I proceed?
Prove
Huh?
prove the theorem.
Should I prove? It's not a theorem, it's a lemma, right? Projection of X along U. Okay. So U1, U2, etc. UM is an orthonormal basis. Okay, you remember this, right? Can you please repeat what I said about orthonormal basis?
They are orthonormal and as well as the basis for U.
Check. Okay. X comma U1. I'll take an empty page and 1 minute. V is a vector space, U is a subspace. For U, there is a U1, U2, U1, U2, etc. UN, right? Check. Okay. X belong to V. Okay. So what can you say about, suppose U1, U2, UM is a basis for U. Can I use this basis? What will be the basis for V then? Yes, can you please say? Tell me, so what idea you have to follow? Just tell me. See, I am considering any vector X and I am projecting it along what? U. So once you projected it along U, what happens? It actually becomes a vector of what?
It becomes isomorphic to all the U, I guess. So it's like one dimension is reduced.
It's a vector in U itself, right?
Yes.
It's a vector in U itself. Okay. So any vector in U. So how to write that? That's the same concept they have used
Linear
there also.
combination of.
Already we have used one result. I'll show you that. This result you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
The same result there also they are using. Okay. Very important thing. Gram-Smith orthogonalization process. The theorem states that every inner product space has always an orthonormal basis. Has always an orthonormal basis. Or even if you don't have an orthonormal basis, you can make it orthonormal. Right? See, for example, this proof is not needed, just I want to explain this. Suppose V is a vector space, right? It has a vector basis U1, U2, etc. UN. It's not orthogonal, right? But I want to convert this basis into an orthonormal basis. So what I do is, first vector I keep as such because one vector alone I am considering now. That vector is what? It's quite, one vector is orthogonal to itself. Now I am going to bring one vector from this particular set of vectors which is orthogonal with this. So how I am going to do that? What I am going to do is I am just going to project it. U1, that's the thing they are using here. See, U2 minus this. I am going to project it. U1 is sorry. Second vector. This vector, I am going to do some alterations in such a way that this vector is orthogonal with this vector. Right? So U2 minus inner product of U2 with U1 into U1. This is a vector which is orthogonal with U1. You remember, x minus projection of x along U is what? Is orthogonal with projection of x along with U. The same concept I am going to use now. So I want to make U2 to be to be orthogonal with U1. So what I am doing is I am subtracting from U2 inner product of U2 comma U1 into U1. So this is a vector which will be orthogonal with U1. Similarly, see, you can proceed in the same way. Now I want to make, again I have to take U3 now. So what I do is U3 minus U3 with U1 into U1 minus U3 with U2 into U2. So this is a vector which is orthogonal with both this one and this one. So I am proceeding in this way. Suppose I have m vectors in this way. What I do is from un, I subtract inner product of u1 with u1 into u1 minus inner product of u1 with u2 into u2, etc. till the last I have to do. So now this nth vector is orthogonal with all the remaining vectors. This vector, this vector. I can call every time this vector as some, if you want you can give some name or leave it. So this nth vector will be orthogonal with all these vectors. Right? But I have constructed only now orthogonal set of vectors. So how to move from orthogonal set of vectors to orthonormal set of vectors? Just divide each of the vector by its norm. So I can divide u1 by norm of u1 and this vector by norm of the same vector, above vector, and this vector by the norm of the same vector. See here, same thing they have done. x1, x2, etc. xn is simply a basis. I am going to convert this basis into an orthonormal basis. So first I am making orthogonal. The numerators are all orthogonal. If you consider the numerators alone, it forms an orthogonal basis. So after preparing or after bringing out the numerators, I am dividing each of them by the norm of that so that it gets converted into an orthonormal basis. Okay. Write this once again. 1 minute. 1 minute. Suppose you have u1, u2, u3, right? I want to convert this into v1, v2, v3. How I am going to achieve that? My v1 is nothing but u1 divided by norm of u1, and my v2 is nothing but u2 minus inner product of u2 comma u1 into u1. Now this vector is simply orthogonal with v1. I want to make it orthonormal, so divide by its norm. The same vector, norm, you divide. Right. What is v3? u3 minus u3 comma u1 into u1 minus u3 comma u2 into u2 by its modulus. This is the procedure. This is called orthogonalization process. It is named under, as usual, in the mathematician Gram-Smith. Okay, so I think hope we have time. Shall we do one question now? What is the time now?
It's 10:30.
10:30 only, right? Okay, take down that first question. Find an orthonormal basis for the column space of E. Column space of E.
Hello, ma'am.
Ah,
Ma'am, if the basis is standard basis, then it will be automatically orthonormal. Ortho.
yes, of course. If the basis is standard basis, automatically it will be orthonormal. For example, 1001 we have seen, right? They are orthogonal and also orthonormal. You need not do anything for this. But suppose if I have 1, 1 and 0, 1, it is also a basis. But are they orthogonal to each other?
No, ma'am.
No. So we have to convert them into orthogonal basis. Orthonormal is obtained by dividing by its norm. Each of the vector divide by its norm, you will get it. Okay, take down this question. Let A is equal to.
Ma'am,
Ah,
orthogonalization is C1 by norm C1.
have it. Only one vector. I'm going. What the procedure is? I'm considering a vector space. See, suppose initially I had only. I want to convert these three vectors into orthonormal basis, right? So assuming this is a basis for a vector space V, now I'm going to introduce another vector space V1, which has orthonormal basis. Maybe same vector space also, but I'll consider this vector alone. If you consider only one vector, it is obviously orthogonal, right? You need not do anything. You cannot, only one vector, it is obviously orthogonal because you cannot find inner product with any other vector. So, assuming simply it is orthogonal, just I'm making orthonormal by dividing by its norm. Okay. Next time, I want to take this vector and I want to make this vector orthogonal with this vector. So, for that, what I am doing, I'm subtracting this vector u2, u1 with u1. This is a projection actually. This actually denotes projection. Projection of u2 along the other space. So if I subtract that, then this particular vector is orthogonal to u1 now. u1 now automatically it is orthogonal to u1 by norm u1 also. So I have found out another vector which is orthogonal, but I want to make this orthonormal. So dividing by its norm. Clear, huh? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Check. Okay, please take down this matrix. We'll do it. They are asking us to find an orthonormal basis for this column space.
Ma'am, will orthonormal basis exist for every basis? For every space?
Actually, we are converting it. Basis means, of course, orthonormal basis should be there. Because you know very well every vector space has a standard basis. Correct? It has a standard basis, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Have you taken down this matrix?
Yes, ma'am.
Shall we do it? Hope you remember the formula. Tell me what is the matrix? A is first column is 1 1 1 1.
Then 1
Second
2 0 1.
Second column is 1 2 0.
1 2 0 1.
Then 2 2 4 0.
1 minute. 1 2 0 1. Okay. Third column
2 2 4 0.
2240. Sorry, I'm not able to hear you. 2240. Okay. I'll call this vector as u1, this as u2, and this as u3. Okay. So I want to find the orthonormal basis. So v1 is nothing but u1 by norm u1 to convert Okay. 1 1 1 1 by norm of 1 1 1. So if no inner product is specified, you have to assume that it is standard inner product. So what is norm of 1 comma 1 comma 1? It is root of inner product of these two vectors. Oh, what is the inner product of these two vectors? Dot product, yeah. That is 1 into 1 plus 1 into 1 plus 1 into 1 plus 1 into 1. 4. Root 4. So it is 2. So your V1 is nothing but 1 1 1 1 by 2. It is 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Here I have made a very small mistake. Even this is also true, but make it as V1. Because already I have created V1, right? It should be, whatever V2 you are creating, it should be orthogonal with V1. Make this as V1. Here also V1, V2, like that, right? So, V2 is equal to, what is V2? See this formula and say, what is V2?
U2 minus
U2 minus inner product of
U2 and
U2
V1.
comma U1. U1 or V1? V1
V1.
into V1 divided by norm of the same. So if the time is over, please tell me, we will proceed tomorrow, no problem. Tomorrow, only Gram-Smith process will do. What is the time now?
Time is there, 10:38.
Time is there. Very good. Very good. Thank you. So what is the inner product of U2 comma V1? U2 is what? 1201. 1201. What is V1? 1 by 2, 1 by 2.
Yes, ma'am.
We find the inner product. 1 by 2 plus 1 plus 1 by 2. This 2. So U2 minus inner product of U2 comma V1 into V1. That is U2. U2 is 1201 minus this value just now we found out 2. Correct. 2 into V1. What is V1? 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Okay, tell me. 1 minus 1, 0. 2 minus 1, 1. 0 minus 1, minus 1.
0.
Minus 1, 0, ma'am.
1 minus 1 is 2. So what is V2 now? This one divided by its norm, correct? This one divided by its norm.
Ma'am, can you show V1?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Beta, V1 I am showing. Can you see?
Yes, ma'am. Not that, ma'am. Like we have the matrix, right, ma'am? Here. So it is not necessary to do the Gauss-Jordan elimination. And all that.
No. They are asking us. See, how do you find the column space of a matrix? Column space of a matrix. Okay. One thing I want to specify. See, I am saying that all the 3 columns are linearly independent. If we want, we can check that. We can check the columns or linearly independent. Only linearly independent vectors can be converted into orthonormal basis, right? So that I should have done. Okay, no problem. We'll do tomorrow one more problem. If you want, we can check that.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, what is norm of this vector shape? Can you write directly? Very simple, yeah. Root of 0 square plus 1 square plus 1 square. Root 2, ah. So it is 0, 1 by root 2, minus 1 by root 2, 0. So, shall we find V3 now? Yes. What is V3? V3 is?
Ma'am, can you show the previous ones? Okay, ma'am.
U3 minus
U3 inner product of U3 and V2, and then V2. Ma'am, it should. Ma'am, if V1 was taken in the calculation of V2, then do we have to take V1 again in V3?
That's what, beta. This is a vector. This U3 should be orthogonal with both these two vectors, right? So both ways you have to project, and here you have to use, okay, diagram wise I have to show you, right? Okay, today you write it, I'll show this. This vector should be orthogonal with both V1 and also V2. That's why I'm projecting that along here and subtracting, and projecting that along here and subtracting. 3-dimensionally you have to think about it. 2-dimensional I have shown. This is 3-dimensional. I'll show you tomorrow. Okay, can you please tell me what is U3 comma V1 into V1? What is U3? 2240, 2240. What is V1?
1 by root 2, 1 by 1 by 2, 1 by.
Okay, into V1, I'll write. That is 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 2, 4. 4 into V1, that is 4 into 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2. It is 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, then U3 comma V2 into V2. What is U3? 240. V2? V2 is 0, 1 by root 2 minus 1 by root 2, 0. 0, 1 by root 2 minus 1 by root 2, 0. By root 2 is root 2 minus 4 by root 2 is minus 2 into okay. 1 minute time will take, I'll complete. So V3 is, let me find this. U3 minus U3 comma V1 into V1 minus U3 comma V2 into V2 is equal to, what was your U3? U3 is 2240. 2240 minus U3 comma V1 into V1 is 2222. Minus U3 comma V2, 0 minus 1, 1 0. Can you just subtract this? 2 minus 2, 0, 0 minus 0, 0. 2 minus 2, 0, plus 1. 4 minus 2, 2, 2 minus 1, 1. 0 minus 2, so minus 2. Okay. So norm of this vector norm is root 6. So V3 is this vector divided by root 6. 0, 1 by root 6, 1 by root 6, minus 2 by root 6. So V1, V2, V3 is an orthonormal basis to the column space of V.
Ma'am, our next class has started.
Okay,
now.
sorry. Tomorrow we'll do more problems in this. Then we'll move on